With a history of intense debates, Jordan Peterson has left us with some jaw-dropping moments. Starting off,
let's assume for a moment that I've benefited from my white privilege. Okay, so let's assume that. That's fine. That's what you would say. Here, let's get precise about this, okay?
Was that very individual of you?
Moving on to, let's dive into a conversation with a New Zealand reporter. Peterson's response not only corrects the narrative, but also sheds light on the media's art of distortion.
Speaking clearly is one of your 12 rules. And I wonder why it is that in a situation like that and in many other situations, what actually happens is that you sow confusion.
I don't sow confusion. The journalists that interview me sow confusion.
Well,
the woman who wrote the New York Times.
Why do you think that happens? You know it's not just the journalists from the New York Times. You know that this happens over and over and over.
That's because the journalists read each other's journalism.
This fucker don't miss.
No, he's good.
That fucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
Transitioning to another noteworthy moment, Peterson challenges a school board on pronouns, pushing the boundaries of free speech by refusing to play the role of a mere mouthpiece.
You're not supposed to interrupt.
I was just going to ask if you could go back to the point about the analogy between the racial slur and the
I don't think there's any analogy at all.
But
I
that's
think
what
the difference
people want to hear
between
you
I'm
on.
talking about compelled speech. There's a difference between saying that there's something you can't say and saying that there are things that you have to say. And I regard these made-up pronouns, all of them, as the neologisms of radical PC authoritarians. Do you understand that? And I'm not a fan of that sort of person. And the reason I'm not a fan of that sort of person is because I've done my homework. I've read everything I can get my hands on in the development of authoritarian political systems, and I know the literature inside out and backwards. And I am not going to be a mouthpiece for language that I detest. And that's that.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
Shifting to an interview, Peterson laughs off the idea that toxic masculinity isn't real.
As women adopt more masculine roles, traditionally, what is that toxicity somehow going to go away?
But that's a straw man, because no one says there's anything toxic about masculinity per se.
What do you mean no one says that? The
People
term exists.
No, they...
How is that a...
Moving forward, Peterson's tough question to a student leaves the feminist left speechless.
What precisely is toxic masculinity? As opposed to, say, toxic femininity or toxic humanity. What exactly are you asking me about?
I really want to know what you like, how you would describe toxic masculinity. Because
No, I want you to define what toxic masculinity constitutes. Since we're going to define things so carefully, let's do it.
Yeah, can someone help me here in the audience?
That's pure narcissism at work, by the way. You know, to hijack an event like this, blatantly yell out your ill-informed opinions is no way to conduct a civil dialogue. It's absolutely appalling. The people who do that should be embarrassed.
Transitioning to a different facet, when challenged by a guest, Peterson not only prompts her to reformulate the question, but delivers a thought-provoking response.
So what is your advice beyond banal comments like clean your room?
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
It's actually rather difficult to answer a question that ends with your comments are banal, politely. So, you know, I would consider that more of an opinionated personal and political statement than actually a question. So why don't you try reformulating that so that there's an actual question there.
So what is your advice to young people when you talk about you need to be individually responsible, but when there are things that are so far out of our control, like climate catastrophe, like the precarious job economy, like the
They're not
economic
as far
crisis?
out of your control as you think.
What is your answer to
Do you think
people
that
who are
generally people have things that are more within their personal purview that are more difficult to deal with and that they're avoiding, and that generally the way they avoid them is by adopting pseudo-moralistic stances on large-scale social issues so that they look good to their friends and their neighbors. That's what it looks like.
In a debate that went viral, when pressed on the right to offend, Peterson's response not only defends free speech, but reshapes the entire conversation.
Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
Except you haven't sat there and... I'm just trying to work that out. I mean...
Ha!
Gotcha, bitch!
You have got me.
Ending with the New Zealand interviewer questioning Peterson's anger. It's the interviewer who exhibits frustration. Yet Peterson responds with composure, creating an intriguing moment of unexpected poise.
Why? You strike me as angry, and I wonder why you're angry.
I guess I'm not sure why I strike you as angry.
You don't feel angry?
At the moment? Not
Well,
particularly.
okay, generally?
No, I wouldn't say, look, I can tell you what my life is like. You can tell me if you think this would be a life that would make you angry. Okay, everywhere I go, I'm stopped by people. They're often young men, but not always. And they'd like to tell me why their life is substantially better since they've encountered my work.
My name is David Limbauschu. I'm unwell. I need help. I need help. I just wanted to meet you. I'm unwell. I called on.
I hope that you
Get up there.
I
want to
hope
be
that
well.
you find the help that you need.
I want to know him better.
If you want the free 12 Rules for Life PDF summary I showed earlier, you can click the first link below to download it for free.